What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of First Date Unsolved. In today's episode, we will be talking to CrimeBlogger1983. He has a true crime blog where he features missing persons cases. He has a Facebook page. He has some stuff up on YouTube, and he also has a Newsbreak page. So I will link all of those for you guys in the description, and you'll get to hear him and I talk about a case that I had just coincidentally finished writing up for one of our homage episodes. I found the very interesting case of Song M. Joseph. Song's case came off to me as kind of like a Lifetime movie. So you'll get to hear Anthony from CrimeBlogger and I talk about Kim's case. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Today we have Mr. Anthony with us. He is a true crime blogger. We'll link all of his information in the show notes, and I will share that with you all so you can go check him out. But today we are getting together to talk about the missing persons case of Song M. Joseph. And Anthony, go ahead and take it away.
Okay. Thanks for having me on, by the way.
Yeah.
Song M. Joseph was born July 8th of 1954 in South Korea. At some point in the 70s, early 70s, she met her husband, Alton Edward Joseph, and she immigrated to the United States in 1974, in November, I believe, of 1974. They lived, I'm going to have trouble with this name. Is it Rehoboth?
Rehoboth. Yeah, Rehoboth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rehoboth, Delaware. They lived off Bay Drive. And they were apparently having some marital issues at the time. She worked at a local motel room. And on July 8th of 1975, he says, according to Alton, her husband, he had an argument. He left, came back, and she was gone. He then went to see if she had somehow went to his parents' house, and she was not there. 2 days after she disappeared, he filed a police report, and then 2 days after that, I guess he re-enlisted in the Army and went back to South Korea. Okay. All of her possessions were left behind. She had no access to a car. And there's no evidence that she actually returned to South Korea either. And she's been missing since that time.
All right. Yeah. I had read, you read all these different sources and there's, different reportings. I had read somewhere that 4 days after she disappeared, he re-enlisted.
Yeah, he reported her missing 2 days. And then I didn't mean to interrupt you there. Sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. I was just saying that's very suspicious. That's all.
Yeah, no, it is suspicious. Yeah, he reported her 2 days later, and then 2 days after that, he went back to South Korea, it's very interesting. Like at first, I thought, maybe he was worried, maybe scared a little bit, so maybe he decided to just leave or something. But as we go through the case and we see his character, you kind of figure that he probably knows more about it than he's letting on.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Real quick, I have here that she went missing on June 8th, 1975. Was it June or July?
You're right. If I said July, that was wrong. It's June 8th. You're right.
Oh, okay. Because you said July. I was like, wait, she went missing on her birthday?
No, I probably read her birthday right here in front of me and I repeated it. So that's probably
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
It's just 1 month difference, but I was like, whoa, her birthday, that's messed up.
No, thanks for correcting that.
Oh, yeah, no, it's okay. And I was reading, she didn't have a lot of friends from what I saw, maybe like one friend in the community.
Right.
She couldn't drive, didn't have a license.
Mm-hmm.
And an interesting fact that I came across, which kind of comes into play as far as her being noticed in the area, according to the 1970 census, the permanent resident population of Rehoboth Beach was 98% white.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whitewashed town, so you would imagine if there was like this small little Korean woman walking around, someone would have noticed her, right?
Right. She'd stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah. And I don't. It doesn't sound like you know much about Rehoboth. Rehoboth is it's a really popular tourist area in the summertime.
Yeah.
But like, in the off season, there's not much going on down there. There's not a lot of permanent residents, but yeah, even in the summertime when she disappeared, she still would have stood out.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, for sure. And I have here, where did I find that information? Oh, Charlie Project page. She's listed as an endangered missing person, so they definitely think foul play was involved.
Yeah, the authorities do believe there's foul play, even though there's no evidence of it. They do believe that something bad happened.
Right, because she went missing and her purse was left behind, her IDs, her social,
her visa, all her personal possessions were. Yeah,
I think there was even food still on the stove or something. So
yeah,
she was taken out in a hurry.
One aspect of it that's real interesting that I wish I could find more about, and I'm gonna have to fill out the FOIA for it to get some of the information if they give it to me. Mm-hmm. But the Korean-speaking man, did you read about that?
I did, and I don't, like you said, there's not much about that. It's very weird.
Yeah, so I don't know. It says Korean-speaking man, but it didn't say Korean man. So, I mean,
right.
That could be anybody. So, I don't know how to take that. I don't know. But they said that in the reports, it says there's two suspects. One's Alton and the other one, and I don't know who the other one is. So,
yeah, I don't think they ever named the other person, at least, not to the public.
No.
And so Alton, he was in South Korea because he was in the military, and that's where we met Song. I was kind of wondering if maybe, kind of just thinking, theorizing or whatever, maybe this Korean-speaking guy was also a veteran.
That's a good idea. I didn't think about that.
I don't know, but he seemed to creep her out, so.
Yeah, because she's possibly being followed, but I don't know. And then another thing with the, they seem to focus later on Alton's parents' house. And it says in the newspaper she would go and visit relatives and acquaintances. And at first I read that as, maybe she has relatives there, but I think they mean that it's her in-laws. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the case, but I didn't think about that until later on. It could be in her in-laws. I mean, that could be what they're talking about with relatives, but I mean, she has acquaintances in that area too, so I don't know.
That makes sense. Yeah, I didn't read that anywhere, but yeah, that definitely makes sense that it would be her in-laws.
And I did read where it said, I don't know what her shift was, but if she worked at a local motel, I imagine it's probably early morning. But it did say that her coworker did verify that she did work her shift that day. So.
Oh, okay. She was a cleaning lady, right?
I'm assuming. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I would imagine, but I don't know that for sure. It didn't even tell us which motel she worked at, so.
That's interesting because I read that she didn't have work that day.
I read that a coworker did say that she worked that day. Maybe I read that wrong. I could have always done that. I'm not sure.
No, it's just, like I said, it's different. You read all of this information and everybody reports it differently. So,
yeah, that's the thing about the kind of work. The one person, I've done it before where I've been off just one thing, and or somebody else has been off one thing and I've repeated it, and I realized that's not what they meant at all. So, I've
even seen like official reports in other cases where police and authorities have dates wrong, and you would think they would have to have the information correct. So, who knows? But that's interesting. Okay.
But her husband didn't seem to be really concerned about. I mean, like I said, at first I thought it might have been that he was worried that he might be pinned on him, so he left. But after we get back, after we start going through his personal history, we'll kind of see that he's not the most trustworthy person in the world.
Yeah, I mean, like, I kind of try to think of it like when me and my husband get into an argument, you need a cooling off period, but
Right.
to not, like, for him to disappear for 2 days, like not hear from him or see him at all for 2 days, that's a long time over like some argument, but
Right.
who knows?
Yeah. No,
Who
I've been
knows?
there. I've been there. So in 1992, the authorities got independent information. And they wouldn't verify what type of information it was, but apparently it was information related to Song's body possibly being at or located on Alton's parents' residence. They didn't live there at the time.
Okay.
But so in October of 1992, they searched 265A Sussex. I couldn't even find that on Google Maps. I think it must be rural or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Sussex County is pretty rural, yeah.
Is it? Okay. Yeah, I couldn't find it. I was trying to find it. I couldn't even put the address into the local thing, and it wouldn't even come up with anything. So it might be renamed now, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
But they did had an archaeological excavation team come in, dig up the area. They found bones, but they later turned out to be a bunch of pig feet, and nothing came of that lead at all.
Okay.
One thing that I thought was kind of interesting, and I didn't get to go down that rabbit hole yet. I don't know if it's really valid or relevant, really, is Alton's father had passed away in, let me see. I got to go through these notes here. Bear with me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Alton R. Joseph was his dad. He passed away in 1999. And then his mom, Hazel, remarried, and she took the last name of Cordry.
Okay.
She passed away in 2020. But if you go down to the articles and read when they're digging up the property in 1992, one of the neighbors they interview, his last name is Cordry. Hey, Robert E. Cordry. Yeah. He states that Cordry said he remembered little of Song except that she had visited his daughter. I may have chatted with her a few times, but I don't really remember. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I don't know if that's relevant or not, but that's something I happened to notice.
Yeah. Is that the Digging for Evidence article?
Yeah, it says vanished. Please seek clues. It's the second part.
Oh, okay. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, I do see the Sussex 265A.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that's like a road.
It says it was a dirt road at one point.
Oh,
probably isn't now. I don't know. But I couldn't find it anywhere on the map or anything. I had nowhere to look. I was lost. Because it says, like, in the article, it says Lewis. Is that how you pronounce it? Is it Lewis or Lewis?
Lewis. Mm-hmm.
Lewis? Okay, so. And then it says, I think that's kind of like a county thing or something, because then it says it's near Rehoboth.
Rehoboth, yeah.
Yeah, whatever. It says it's near there, too, so I don't know.
Cordray, yeah. Yeah, Lewis and Rehoboth, they're both beach towns.
Yeah. Looks like a nice area.
Oh, yeah, real nice. Too rich for my blood.
Yeah, mine too. Way too rich for me. But when I was profiling it, I was writing on another case. I noticed, like, it was Delaware Beach, I think it was. That looks like a really nice town, too, but the crime rate is crazy there.
Is it like Dewey Beach?
Dewey Beach, there we go, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's like a bar town, kind of.
Is it?
There's
okay.
Lots of bars, lots of partying down there. It's still a really nice area. It's very expensive.
No, I saw it, but yeah, I was looking at the crime rates, and I was like, wow. You wouldn't think about looking at that area, it would be like that.
Probably just drunken, disorderly.
Yeah. Party town.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting because a lot of these I haven't seen. Do you use newspapers.com?
I use a lot. Google's has a newspaper thing. I use newspapers.com. I use Newspaper Archive. I use anything I can, really.
Maybe I just need to get better at, like, how I search. Maybe that has a lot to do with it. But
you'll find your way. It took me a while to get it, too. There's still some articles that people find that I wish I knew where they found them. makes me mad because there was one guy that did a Medium article on her. He had one I couldn't find anywhere. I'm like, where did you get that? But yeah, it just comes with experience.
Practice.
That's all. Yeah.
Okay, so you hinted at briefly on Alton's background a little bit.
Yeah.
You kind of want to get into that because when I read all that information, that blew my mind.
Yeah. He's not the brightest guy, apparently.
No.
So, in April 2001, Alton, actually prior to that, I guess he had lived in. At one point, he lived in Massachusetts, and this kind of made sense now because when I read this part, I'll read this part first. He gave 14 blocks of C4 to his friend. Basically, he was a supply specialist in the Army, so he had taken this in the 70s, the C4, and he had kept it all this time. And C4 is basically an explosive. It's more powerful than dynamite.
Yeah.
Not something you just want to have lying around.
Right.
I know that like that in itself, like taking things, because they told him to get rid of it. And I can probably guarantee you my family's military. And I know that my uncles always carried stuff home with them. So, but as the laws became more strict, they got rid of it. Apparently he didn't do it. So it's not like something that's really odd for that to happen. I don't know why you need C4, but apparently he kept it all this time. And in April 2001, he was arrested for giving the 14 blocks of C4 to his friend. Now, the odd thing about that is he gave the C4 to his friend, a 28-year-old at the time named Jerry King. Then he turned around and told the ATF that this guy, Jerry, was selling the C4, the same C4 that he gave him. So I was like, what is wrong with this guy? So after he talked to the ATF, he then told Jerry that, hey, they're going to raid you. So Jerry gave the C4 to his girlfriend, which did do them any good. They raided his girlfriend's house. She lived with their mom at the time. So they arrested Jerry. I think they arrested the girlfriend too, but she ended up getting out quick. And then when they questioned Jerry, of course, he just told them that Alton gave him the C4 and that he was supposed to sell it, and they were supposed to split the money. So upon hearing that, they arrested Alton, Joseph Alton. So I was like, why did he do that? It makes no sense. I thought he was just like stupid or something. I don't know what he was going. But then when I went in, because I read that he had a pending warrant in Massachusetts at the same time. So when I went into the court documents and read the court documents, he had a charge for larceny for stealing $250.
Oh.
And what he was doing was he was trying to use basically the ATF to get him a better deal on it. I guess he didn't think that Jerry was going to tell on him. So he was trying to get a better deal on the larceny charge by ratting his friend out.
And he screwed himself.
Yeah, and of course, Jerry just told on him, and it didn't work at all. So it made sense after. I mean, it still doesn't make sense to me. That's not a bright thing to do, but like in terms of a thought process, I guess I can see where he was kind of going, even if he's not that smart.
Yeah.
So after that, put it in perspective. After I read the court documents.
Yeah, I didn't know that a friend was involved. I read that they arrested him for transporting it across state lines.
Yeah.
But I didn't know he had a friend involved. Who would have known?
Yeah. Be an idiot.
Yeah, I was reading that it was, you said 14 bricks.
Blocks,
I read 21 pounds. Oh, block. Yeah, I guess it's the
pounds,
same.
Yeah.
And I read that half of a pound is enough to destroy a car. Like just obliterate it.
Right.
So this guy had 21 pounds of it. I don't know why you would think it's a good idea to bring that home, but
I have no clue either. But most of the time it's more bragging because, like, I know my uncles had a bunch of like grenades at one point.
Okay. Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, look, I got a grenade in the garage." Like my uncle would always show me the grenades, but he ended up getting rid of them because that's just stupid.
It's not very safe at all.
No. Yeah. Once he started having his little nieces and nephews over, he's like, "I'm not even going to have this in the house." And he got rid of them. So, but it's not an easy thing to get rid of too. So I think he may have been in a position to where he got it, but he didn't know how to dispose of it. So,
Gotcha. Yeah.
but yeah, when the ATF raided his girlfriend's trailer, I guess the girlfriend's trailer was at Sea Air Village Mobile Home Park of North Rehoboth.
Rehoboth, yeah.
Yeah, so they had to evacuate like a whole bunch. So, I mean, it's a lot more stable than dynamite, but it's still not, it's a lot more powerful too, so.
Okay. Yeah, I was kind of wondering. I didn't look too much into it. I probably should have, but like how touchy, like how sensitive that stuff is, but.
No, the dynamite would be a lot worse, but C4 is a lot more stable, but still, it's a lot more explosive too, so.
It's powerful stuff, yeah.
Yeah, they use it to destroy bunkers, so, yeah.
Gotcha, okay. Let's see, what did I want to mention? So, I'm not sure, you probably saw this information as well, but I know the investigators mentioned that, they don't think she ever made it back to South Korea. Like her social had never been used after she disappeared.
Right.
She didn't have her visa or anything, like passport or anything with her, so it would have been difficult to get back there anyway. But I was reading that it was difficult to communicate with her family because where they live is so rural. It's hard to get phone calls out there.
Oh, wow.
And I also saw somewhere that it was hard for them to find a decent interpreter to, interpret Korean and English. So her family wasn't involved in the case much at all. And they think that kind of, hindered them. It's definitely a detriment to the case, but I can't imagine, her family all the way in Korea, your child, your loved one is missing, and you have no way of communicating with anybody. That's got to be awful.
Not to mention how she must have felt, because coming from, Korea all the way to here with nobody else but your husband.
Right, yeah.
It had to be a cultural change for her too, especially in an area where there's nobody else that's like you around either.
Mm-hmm.
That's got to be really hard on her. So I'm sure that he took advantage of that aspect.
You know what? I never thought of that, but I think you're absolutely right. I would totally agree with that. Just kind of, just from we can pick up off of other parts of his life,
Yeah. But he ended up, he pled guilty in November of 2002 to moving the explosive across state lines, and he was sentenced to 30 months in prison with 3 years of supervised probation after his release. And he now lives in New Hampshire. And he is, I think he's in his late 70s, I believe.
And he did get remarried. I did see that.
Yeah, he did get remarried too, yeah.
Did I also, something that was really, really interesting, I don't think I wrote it down, but according to this Korean website I found, Google translated it for me, Sung Im is her case is the oldest case of a missing Korean in America.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
Oldest active missing persons, Korean missing persons cases in America, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It is crazy. And there's not many pictures of her, too. I enhanced the ones that I sent to you as best I could, but those are even hard to enhance. But I think they did a lot better than they did, but still.
Oh, yeah, they look
more
pretty
pictures of her. Unfortunately, there isn't. So that's all you have to work with is those grainy newspaper ones.
Yeah, from the 70s.
Yeah. But, yeah, I wish we had more information on her family, if she had any siblings or anything like that. Unfortunately, like you said, I wouldn't. I mean, if it was tracking somebody like family members down in the United States, I could do that, but not in, South Korea. I couldn't. I wouldn't know where to start.
Right.
Or how to do it, really. I thought about, at some point, I might give Alton a call to see what his temperament is, but I don't know if he'd be willing to talk to me at all. I can always give it a shot, though.
That would be very interesting.
And he probably won't. He probably won't even. Once he figures out what I'm going to ask about, he'd probably just hang up. It's probably usually what to do anyway. It's my experience anyway. So, but we do need to point out that he's never been charged or anything. He is a person of interest according to law enforcement, but he's never been considered. I don't think he's ever been officially a suspect.
Right.
So, there is a possibility that, I know the weapons, the C4 has nothing to do with the case.
No.
And it's very possible. At this point, it looks like he knows more than he does, but it's very possible that he may not have anything to do with it as well. So,
it's possible. Innocent until proven guilty, right?
Right. But, he's going to be, since he was the last one that saw her, apparently, that's where you want to start. And since the authorities did search his parents' address, that kind of tells you that they do believe that he knows more.
Yeah. Kind of sounds like they believe everyone, like his family knows more than what they're leading on. Yeah.
Pretty much. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of information on this, but it's one of those cases that I really wanted to profile because there's really nothing online about it. And I'm not a guy that likes to copy and paste stuff, like those people that copy and paste stuff and just act like they did something different. I want to find something new about it, add something to it. So
yeah, that's awesome. You did great.
But I really appreciate you having me on. It was really, I really enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, for sure. If it's something you'd be interested in doing, or continuing, we can do this more.
Oh yeah, that's great. I'd like it a lot. I could use the distraction right now anyway.
Yeah, a lot of if you've looked into the Delaware stuff, you can probably see that there's not much on anything really.
No, there isn't. That's one of the reasons I kind of focused on that area, because there's not a whole lot of active. I think I met like maybe 2 or 3 people that focus on Delaware, and you're one of them. So,
yeah, that's just because I live here.
Yeah. So like I was kind of like I said, I just picked it at random, but I noticed I started on New Jersey, but there were so many things for New Jersey. Then I kind of just went a little farther south, and I said I'll focus on Delaware for a while. So there is a group I have on Facebook too. It's called Delaware's Missing Persons by CrimeBlogger1983.
Okay.
It's a page, so that's where a lot of the posters I make.
That's where they're shared.
Yeah. So, and I'll do the write-ups there too. I share the write-ups too. I put them on Newsbreak, but I also put them on that page too. So.
Okay. Yeah, I'll make sure I share that stuff as well. But yeah, thanks for joining me. This was awesome.
Hey, no problem. I appreciate you having me on.
All right. Have a great rest of your night, Anthony.
You too. Bye.
All right. Bye.